Welcome back to Mental Wellness Evolution. I'm Jeff. Thanks for being here. Tonight we're talking about healthy ways of dealing with anger. Okay, guys, so we all need to be able to control our anger, okay, guys, and emotional regulation is actually one of the best skills that we can work on fostering, okay? We can't be reactive all the time. We can't be shooting from the hip and unloading the things that are going on inside of us onto other people. Now, let's not get this twisted right away that we don't want to say that we should never feel anger. First and foremost, anger is a very, very important human emotion. It lets us know when we're being disrespected, when we see injustices in the world and things that we don't want to accept. It's a natural thing to feel anger within ourselves, okay, guys? It's perfectly healthy, it's perfectly normal, and it's okay to express it. And sometimes it's just we have to be mindful how we go about expressing it. It can't be an explosive thing all the time. And a lot of times, guys, this is the thing with anger when it comes to men, is like when we're kids, the one emotion that we were all really allowed to feel in some way, shape, or form was anger. It's the most easily expressed emotion for men. It's the one that manifests naturally for us. It's a very strong emotion, especially around women and stuff like that. Men don't like to feel weak, so they portray a strong emotion, which is naturally anger. That's what naturally comes out. Now, right or wrong or indifferent, that's what happens. Now, the thing about anger within men especially is oftentimes it's a mask for something that's a little bit deeper down underneath that anger that's being expressed in, say, an angry outburst. Things like grief, sadness, loneliness, disrespect, anything else like that underneath those things is what comes up as anger, okay? So anger can actually be a great teacher for us. It can help us gain a lot of windows and insights into ourselves and what's going on inside of ourselves as we kind of get in touch with it and maybe start to dig a little bit deeper into it. If we have an explosive emotional reaction, take a look back at that and say, hey, what was going on there? What was kind of going on underneath that? Dig into it a little bit. Get to know your anger, guys. It's something that we need to learn to welcome inside of ourselves because we can't repress it. We can't repress it. We can't repress it, guys. When we repress, that's when we end up with the explosion, because if you don't get it out in healthy ways and deal with it, then that's what's going to happen. You push it down, you push it down, you push it down, you push it down, then somebody kind of does something and it just bang, it sets us off and we explode, and that poor person probably didn't deserve it in the first place. Okay, guys? So start getting in touch with it. Start learning what it feels like. Where do you feel anger when it comes on inside of your body? The emotion that you identify as anger. Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your shoulders? Do you feel it in your chest? I know for me, when I feel it right in here. I feel it in my stomach and I feel it in the back of my shoulders. That's when I know when I'm feeling angry. I can identify that just by what it feels like within my body. Start to get in touch with that, because that gives you an insight and you can say, hey, I'm feeling angry right now. I have something that's going on inside of me. Now, we learn to give these things a little bit of space because we don't necessarily want to be just reactive and explosive right away. Now, you might still want to express it if you actually have taken the step behind yourself to realize that, hey, no, this is upsetting and what's going on here is unacceptable and I'm not going to put up with it. Absolutely. Move forward in that reaction. But that also gives you a little bit more of a control where you can kind of just authoritative and be firm about something instead of being explosive about it. Okay, guys? So we get in touch with that emotional state. We learn to welcome it into ourselves. Instead of repressing it, we say, hey, you're welcome here, anger. You're here. I always like to use the analogy of viewing your emotions kind of like children, okay? Imagine you have every emotion is just like one of your children. They come to you and they're feeling a little bit angry. Sometimes you just have to help that child get back to stasis. You need to help them calm themselves down. We can do the same thing with ourselves. Picture like an inner child, a little version of yourself that's feeling that anger. How would you help them get through it? And if it was appropriate for them to express it, then by all means, express it, guys, okay? But we also need to do that deeper dive into ourselves to find out what maybe is potentially lurking beneath the surface and might actually be at the root of this. This is where doing the inner work, it really, really starts to pay dividends for us, okay, guys? Because when we actually have these repressed other emotions that keep manifesting as anger, they're going to keep showing up on a day-to-day basis. And eventually, if you're just angry all the time, it actually becomes part of your personality and people will just know you as an angry person. And nobody wants to be known as an angry person. I mean, It's inherently human to have this emotion, but we need to deal with what's going on beneath the surface with this, because we don't want to just show up and be reactive like that in our everyday lives, because that's going to make you the type of person that nobody actually wants to be around or ever deal with. They're just going to push you away, okay, guys? So there are healthy ways. Again, doing the inner work, starting to dig yourself into it a little bit deeper. If you have periods of your life where you're just feeling that frustration of those things, finding those healthy coping outlets for it are so valuable, guys. Like something like getting into like boxing or jujitsu or something that's a little bit more aggressive, in a lot of ways that can help you kind of deal with that anger and those feelings in healthy ways. I play in a band, we play music. It's phenomenal for helping to deal with some of these things on a moment to moment, day to day basis, okay? But at the end of the day, we can have the healthy outlets and go to them, but we have to actually physically deal with what's going on inside of ourselves, guys. Now, obviously we can take time where it's just like, yeah, you know what, I can't do the work today, I can't do that, I just need to go do something to get it out of me. Those are where we want to turn to. We don't want to go to the self-destructive behaviors. If you're already an angry person, you go start doing drugs and alcohol. I've seen how this works for people. Well, next thing you know, you're in a bar fight or doing something dumb because, you know, you were already angry. Now you got a bunch of drugs and alcohol, and your filter goes down, you're pissed off already, and it becomes really easy to have that reaction. And you know what? You might get yourself into a situation because of that anger that you cannot take back, okay, guys? So find the healthy ways of dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. Be willing to go to them when you absolutely need them, but also understand that we have to be willing to do the work to get some of the things out that are leading to that anger in the first place. And once we kind of do a deeper dive into that, then a lot of times as a byproduct, we're not going to show up and be as reactive with that anger in our lives. And again, guys, this is still a healthy human emotion. It's okay to get angry. It's okay. Don't buy into the nonsense of, oh, you should never feel angry. No, 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 no. We're humans, guys. Every single human being, and anybody that says they don't get angry is repressing a bunch of shit, and that's even more unhealthy. We need to have the healthy outlets and be willing to express it in a healthy way. You know, if your partner does something to you that actually makes you angry and there's disrespect and there's things there, fine. Now you can choose your reply. Instead of blowing up on them, you can be firm and then be like, hey, you've upset me, and this, like, what you've done here is unacceptable and I don't like it. And we can go about having it in a healthy way instead of escalating a situation and turning it into something that it does not absolutely have to be, okay? And gaining that awareness of our anger and where it's coming from is going to be paramount in helping us to get this accomplished, okay, guys? And realize where, like I said, get in touch with it inside of your body. Understand where it feels, where it manifests, where it comes on. And then we can learn to welcome it into our lives instead of just being like, I shouldn't feel this, I shouldn't feel this. Because what we resist persists. As far as emotions go, we keep resisting our anger, we keep resisting our anger. Eventually, it's going to get in, it's going to get us in a moment of weakness, and we're going to blow up, and somebody's going to get it that didn't deserve it in the first place. Okay, guys? So take those notes. Anger is a healthy human emotion. Be willing to express it, but also within reason, within a form of regulation where you can express yourself without blowing up. Start dealing with the things that are lurking beneath the surface of your anger, and as a byproduct, you're going to not be as reactive throughout the course of your life. And then start finding those healthy ways of dealing with it when we're on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes we just need ways to get our anger outside of ourselves, guys, in those healthy ways. The gym, boxing, jujitsu, walking, motorcycle, music, whatever that may look like for you guys. Okay, so hopefully you guys got some good tips in this video for dealing with anger, because again, guys, we can't have that emotion running us in our lives. And again, if we're constantly angry, the other byproduct of this too, guys, is physiologically we're destroying ourselves. If you're in a state of anger all the time, you're under the stress response, you're going to be stressed out, you're going to be very reactive, and physiologically you're pumping stress hormones through your body every single day that are literally destroying your immune system and your own internal health. So that's another reason why self-regulating and being able to regulate our internal state is important. If we can express ourselves firmly, authoritatively, get it out of us, get ourselves back to stasis, that's also going to help us to be healthier inside of our bodies as well. And healthy body, healthy mind, they go hand in hand, and they make for the best version of ourselves in our lives. Okay, guys, so start finding those ways for yourself. Start figuring out those healthy ways to deal with anger. Deal with the self-regulating, and I promise you it's going to help you to live a more peaceful life moving forward. Okay, guys, have a great night.